I love this football team. I love coaching this football team. And I don't mean Rutgers in general. I mean this football team. Nothing makes me happier in my career than being able to watch you guys celebrate that win. And it was awesome.
That was Rutgers football coach Kyle Flood after last week's big win over Michigan, their first win in the Big Ten. And joining me to talk about Rutgers radio analyst, former Rutgers star, and former Jets linebacker as well, Jamaal Westerman in studio.
Thanks for having me here today.
Appreciate you here talking a little bit about Rutgers football. And boy, this really was a big win for this program, wasn't it? How big was this, not only for the program, but really for this team's confidence?
I think it was bigger for the confidence of the team. You know, Michigan has a ton of 5-star, 4-star guys coming out of high school. And now the Rutgers guys who, you know, can play on that level, maybe I got turned down by Michigan. They went out there and they really put it to them.
They did. And we saw after the game, the fans storming the field. You were there for that. You were there for Pandemonium and Piscataway.
This is like Pandemonium and Piscataway number 2.
Part 2, okay.
I mean, the first one I was there back in '06 when we beat Louisville, you know, beat a ranked team. I mean, they were going nuts, and it was fun, you know, until I got stuck under the pile. I'm under the pile, and I'm okay. It's just okay. But for a split second, I thought I was going to die. I couldn't inhale anymore. I couldn't exhale.
You're made of concrete, and you could.
Listen, the only thing that saved me was the football that, when we sacked Brian Brom, the football rolled under my arm. I picked it up, and I was poking people like, get off me.
You're using that as a weapon.
Walking through the crowd, people are snatching my mouthpiece, snatching my gloves. I felt like Magic Mike, man. They were taking everything off. it was horrible.
I didn't think there was a possibility that there would be a Magic Mike reference in this show. But
it was horrible, but it was fun. I mean, this week I was up in the booth, so I didn't get to run on the field with the rest of the students. I mean, the game was sold out. The students were going nuts. 7 o'clock night game, blackout. Right. And you beat Michigan, which is, you know, for all the ups and downs they've had this year, they're one of the most storied programs in college football history. And so for Coach Flood and the guys, it was a big thing for them.
Was this more of a reflection of where this Rutgers program is right now, or where the Big Ten is?
I think it's more of a reflection for where Rutgers is at the moment. I mean, they have talent. Gary Nova's playing at the top of his game, you know, and for the recruits that are coming in, there's nothing better to say, listen, you come to Rutgers and you get to build on top of this. You know, you get to be possibly the first guy to win a Big Ten championship with Rutgers, or the first guy to go to the Rose Bowl with Rutgers. And, you know, that's something to be said. You know, a lot of these schools have a lot of tradition, a lot of history. So does Rutgers. I mean, we're the birthplace of college football,
sure.
1869. But, you know, you can come in and be the first to do it. You know, when I was part of the first team to win a bowl game at Rutgers, that's kind of something where I say I put my mark on the university. And I think for recruits, guys in high school, even the guys on the team now that came to play in these Big Ten games, it's big for them.
Some teams are built on offense, some are on defense, some around speed, but I don't think I've ever known another program that is so built around special teams as Rutgers. Why is that, number one, so undervalued with other programs, and why is it so important to Rutgers?
I think it's, you know, the reason it's important to Rutgers because it's a way that you can impact the game. I mean, I had 2 block punts in my career at Rutgers, but I think
because they put the starters on it, right?
You put a lot of starters, and people take pride in it. Like you said, if you're a part of a team that's known for the defense, like, say, the Baltimore Ravens, you take pride in being a part of that defense. At Rutgers, if you're part of the special team unit, the team, you know, we blocked the most kicks or punts since 2009 in college football. You take pride in that you have an opportunity to impact the game. And, you know, Kamoko Ture, I mean, he was a basketball player in high school. Probably couldn't shoot because, I mean, he can jump out the room.
That's why he's playing football, not basketball.
Listen, man, this guy can jump out. I mean, he had 3 block kicks on the year, won the last game against Michigan. Anybody that has the opportunity to play on these special team roles, I mean, you can impact the game so quickly.
You expect them to be a top 25 consideration the rest of the year?
I do. I think the next 2 games, you know, this is for their bye week, and this is a time for them to focus for the toughest part of the schedule. Normally, the second half of the schedule, all the teams, they worked out all their kinks, and now it's time to roll. So I think these last 6 games coming up, it'll be big for them to really compete every game. And I think, you know, they have a chance in all the games. I mean, we have the big hitters coming up, the Ohio State, the Michigan State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Maryland, Indiana. But you know, we can go in there. If we play Rutgers football and Nova has a good day and we play sound on special teams and defense, I definitely think all the games are winnable for us.
Do you think there's a possibility that New York City, which, by the way, has been excluded from all of the college football tradition and history over the years, we don't care about football on Saturdays. Rutgers could bring college football to New York City, couldn't it?
If you're in New York City, New Jersey, and you haven't been to a Rutgers game, shame on you. I mean, I think if you want to get...
You're missing out.
Listen, if you want to get some of this college football, it's totally different than the Jets game, totally different than the Giants game. It's just a different atmosphere with the fans. I mean, the tailgating, people that's been, you know, fans for years and they're a fan of the school, you know, because sometimes in the pros, guys come, guys go, guys get traded. But if you're a part of a school and say Rutgers, you're always Rutgers. Like, I'm always going to be a Rutgers guy. And I think if you're in the New York area, come down to Piscataway, come down to the Banks, be about an hour or two early, get a little tailgating in, go on to the stadium and, you know, let it rock.
You brought up the Jets, so I want to continue with that conversation here. And Rex Ryan, you obviously played for Rex Ryan for 3 years. Tell us a little bit about why this team continues to rally around him, and will they have to do that for him to keep his job?
I think people like to call him a player's coach, but I think, you know, for the most, that's not all it is about him. I think he's a good coach. He's a very sound coach, and he protects his players, some say to a fault, but he always has your back. And when you have a coach that you can say, listen, man, I can go out there and mess up. He's not going to go to the media and say, hey, that guy, he didn't have his coverage. You know, there was times where guys weren't in the right position and somebody might have scored. He's not going to let them know. It's about team business. And I think, I mean, he's a good coach. He's a fun-loving coach. I mean, the first time I met him in his office, I'm on my visit, going down to the Jets facility. I'm in my suit. I'm right out of college. I'm straight ahead. And he's like, hey, man, do you like to dance? I'm like, whoa, he hit me with a curve. He's like, yeah, you know, you do a little this, you do a little point, a little bite your lip, you know, dancing. I'm like, all right, he threw me for a loop there, but I think, you know, he knows how to, when to turn it on and when to be, you know, it's all about football, and when to kind of, all right, you know, throw a guy a bone, you know, have a little joke with a guy to kind of calm him down. And I think that's why the guys rally behind him. I think he's a very good head coach, and, you know, I expect him to, you know, hopefully he'll keep getting better throughout the year, and the guys keep rallying behind him, because I do think he is one of the top defensive coaches in the league.
So you got dance lessons from Rex Ryan.
Hey, and they were pretty good.
Point your finger,
listen,
right?
man, I did it at my wedding, man, and everybody loved it, so they were pretty good.
All right, finally, real quick, what's up with you? What's your future now at this point?
Right now I'm training, you know, 4 to 5 days a week at Test Sports Club. It's one of the premier, you know, sports performance training places in New Jersey and really the East Coast. So I'm training 4 days a week, and, you know, I had a couple workouts with different NFL teams. So we'll see what happens. You know, I'm doing the Rutgers pregame, halftime, postgame.
You've got a future in this broadcast.
Listen, man, it's fun, and to see the game from a different aspect is always great.
Well, you're a great communicator, and wish you the best of luck in furthering your NFL career and in your broadcast career.
I appreciate it. Maybe later on we can see some of your dance moves.
Oh, please. I don't want to scare anybody. Thanks, Jamaal.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're not done with football. A man who was on our show just a few weeks ago broke a school record today. We're going to show you that. And weren't the Royals supposed to be using their speed in the postseason? Their improbable power surge continued tonight in the ALCS. The WLNY Sports Update continues after this.
2 strike home